And Minister, I want to congratulate you on the second stage reading of the Finance Bill. I think this is a really important budget, and when you look at the context, as my colleague has said, we'd never imagined being in a position of this kind 12 months ago, where not only we would not have a deficit but have a surplus, and a surplus leading into next year. And it's given great scope to be able to respond to the challenges. Times are really tough, people need more money in their pockets, and this budget enables us to do that through reductions in tax, through at the same time as putting up the national minimum wage, putting up public sector wage where we can do, and providing people with more money now when they need it to be able to deal with energy bills as a consequence of the war in Ukraine. It's a really significant intervention, and I think I've heard calls for more to be done, and of course everybody wants more to be done because we're politicians representing our constituents. That's what we do. But I think if you look across the United Kingdom and the installation of yet another new cabinet, we have learned or seen very clearly the consequences of a different budgetary approach, a reckless budgetary approach, one that has no regard for sustainability, one that has no regard for being able to be relied upon by the citizens of that country. And those mistakes have had to be very quickly fixed. But they've come with, although I'm sure they would be quickly fixed, they've come with huge reputational cost to a country that had built up such a strong reputation over time, notwithstanding our disagreement about Brexit, a strong reputation over time for being a stable political entity, a stable political institution. And I think there's a very salutary lesson to us in managing our budgetary processes as we have done, and being able to provide for people when we need it, as happened during COVID, and as I think will happen, or I hope will happen insofar as we can, with the rising costs of energy. I particularly want to commend the significant changes, I think the tax policy changes that have been made. I think it's a really important step to give people more of their own money back at this time in an inflationary cycle. I think it's a really important measure to set a tone that we want to do that. We have not been able to do that for many, many years. It's important that people have discretion about how to spend their own money, but particularly at this time, it was very important to be able to take a step towards giving more people control over their own spending and more tax back. And I'd like to see that continued into next year where possible, because people do need discretion over their own money. We've, and particularly middle-income workers who have been hardest hit in many respects. These changes are a significant step, and I welcome them, and congratulate you on the second stage of the Finance Bill.